Hi YouTube. I thought I would upload another video today, and my hope is that you find some of this information useful, that maybe it helps you in purchasing a tractor and realizing maybe what are some things, what's the progression of things that I had to fix on the tractor to get it going, and things that I've been facing. So hopefully this is helpful. First thing, I bought this from a farmer that I didn't know, and I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. I have I don't know anything really about engines, and I bought the tractor as kind of a project to get myself familiarized with what it means with internal combustion engine, how to work on it, how it runs. I'm kind of looking at this tractor as college tuition, and it certainly has been that, and it's been a lot of work, but I'll tell you, I've really enjoyed it. I've thoroughly enjoyed this thing, and hopefully this will help you maybe when you're looking for a tractor. One of the things that I discovered, I bought a tractor. I knew it had the tires were tired on it, but I didn't realize the expense on it. So when you're looking for a new tractor, if the tires are tired, and they may have had calcium chloride in them, which means the rims on the inside maybe are not so much. Which, if you're going to replace that stuff, you're looking at $1,000 for rear tires, rear rims, and labor to install them and all that kind of stuff. So that's not an insignificant item. If you have a tractor that needs some work in some other areas, but you have good tires, good rims on them, there's not a lot of rust, and if you can somehow verify or ask the guy, did these ever have calcium chloride in these rims? They fill the tube, but it ends up leaking, it ends up getting out, and it rots the inside. Another thing to watch for is if you can't see on the rear tire where you put the air in, that means the tire's it's been inverted, and so you have to look on the inside. You know what I'm talking about. You look on the inside of that rim for the I don't know if you want to call it a nipple, whatever it is, where you put air in the tire. I thought I had a good rim, but I didn't really look at it. It was on the inside. It was on the inside. They're just inverted, and you can see down on the inside there quite easily, but I just never bothered to do it. And so took the tire off and was changing the tire, and ended up that rim, it was rotted out. There was a spot around that nipple like this, that there was no metal, so that rim was shot, and I thought it was a good one. So I had to get two tires, two rims. I ended up with a bunch of money out there. So just be careful with that. Look at the tractor. There are a lot of welds on there, which probably means maybe there's been, maybe, not always, but maybe there's been some homemade engineering done to the tractor. So if you see a lot of homemade looking repairs, that might be what you're faced with. So I want to talk a little bit. I'm going to step up to the tractor and talk about problems that I had. So one thing that I had to deal with was the tractor wouldn't start. When I bought it, it would start. It had to sit for a little while, and it wasn't working real well. So the first thing I did was look at the gas and see was the gas working properly. I cleaned out the gas tank, took the carburetor off, and did a rebuild on the carburetor. As I'm cleaning it up, I'm all done. I'm putting it back together and all that. I realized there's a crack, and I'm going to take you over there for a minute because I want to show you. So here's your carburetor. So right down here, after this adjustment screw, right kind of the lowest part of the carburetor, there's a little crack there. As I'm putting it together, I find this crack. So I got a new carburetor. What happens is you either use the wrong kind of gas. These tractors should run on ag gas or recreational gas, depending on where you are. What it is gas with no ethanol in it. So if you get moisture in your gas, which ethanol will bring moisture to your fluid. In fact, I would recommend using on your chainsaws, your rototiller, your lawnmower, your whatever kind of small engines that you're running to run ag gas or no ethanol for the fluid thing, and you will recognize a whole lot less repairs to your small engines if you use that gas. So anyway, that's what you need to run in here, is this gas. It's more expensive, yes, but what's the cost of a new carburetor? So probably had the wrong gas in it. probably condensed some water. Where does the water settle? Right on the lowest part of your carburetor. And what happens when you get freezing temperatures? You get a crack. It cracks there. So there's another reason you need that. And I've gotten in the habit now of putting the stable, the fuel stabilizer. It's called stable, and it's the one that is for storage. And that will make that ag gas. Ag gas will last like a year, where gas with ethanol will only last a number of months in its effectiveness. And you put that stable in, it says up to 2 years. So that's a lot of security for me. So I just put stable storage kind in all my fuel that goes in this tractor and goes in all my small engines. So hopefully that's a great tip for you to save some equipment costs and hopefully do nice things for your tractor. So, but I got all that fixed, and it still wasn't running right. I probably should back up for a minute and go back up to the starter. So let's flip back over to the other side. So I took the starter off and was looking at it, and there's a band in there. You take the band off and you really get into the guts of it. And there's copper wires that are twisted inside of there, inside these little grooves. And there was one of them that was broken. And when I took it to the starter guy, I didn't know. All of those have to be intact. You can't have one that's off, and this one was broken. And it had been kind of cobbled in its repair. It was soldered together, but it just wasn't a good job. And the guy said, well, somebody was just trying to get this so it's starting up a little bit so they could get it sold and get out of there. So how can you determine whether the starter's been messed with in that way and it hasn't been properly gone over? Anyway, had to get a new starter, and I still had electrical problems. And the magneto, this is a magneto, and it was taken, the magneto was off. And and they had put a coil on, and there's a bunch of different ways that people can cobble together to get the electrical portion of these tractors to work. And that was done. So I ended up putting a new magneto on it, and now it as soon as I did that and the fuel situation was fixed, I had a new carburetor on there, started up. I did rewire the tractor. I got a wiring harness for it, and the lights work. Pardon me. Let's see, what else did I want to mention while I was here? I think that's about it. I think I'm going to do a start, and that'll be the end of that. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you get something out of it. Please leave comments if you want, and here we go. I'll turn the gas on. Let's see how she starts today. She hasn't been running for a few days. And it's warm today, but it has been wet. So let's see what we got. Another thing I would recommend you do is to get the owner's manual for this tractor. I mean, it costs a little bit of dough, but that ended up saving me a lot. It's like, oh, well, that's why when I had to like trial and error figure out where should I put the choke on there. Right in the manual it tells you put the choke on halfway when you're starting it. It tells you how to start it with the crank when you're doing that. There's detailed instructions on where you set and where you set the choke and and all that kind of stuff, so you can save yourself a lot of grief rather than just trying to get to know your tractor on your own. The owner's manual will really help you a lot. I highly recommend that. Okay, so I got this, I got my throttle, I got my choke set at halfway, I'm in neutral, and we'll push the button, we'll see what we get.